I don't think he gets it until he attacks the orc's base. And when you kill those burrows, that's experience right there. So he'll be getting level 3 anyways, just off those burrows. And you want to usually hit right when you have about 6 destroyers, 5 or 6 destroyers. That's usually a good time to hit, because with them having full mana and everything, they'll pretty much take out all the burrows really fast. And then if you see that you can't fight the battle when they TP in or whatever, just TP out, and it's definitely well worth it, because you guys traded TPs. Not only did you do that, but you basically took out all of his burrows, or most of them, hopefully. Excuse me. And so, basically, he's going to be really at a disadvantage. He's not going to be able to produce units until he gets all those burrows back up, which is going to cost him a lot of gold. It's going to take him a while, and by that time, you should have more destroyers up, and so then your army could probably even out, basically. So that's what he's going to be doing right here. Make sure you absorb the mana from the statues before you morph the statue to destroyer, so you have all that mana. And look how fast those orc burrows go down, just because they have heavy armor. And that guy sees, and he sees that too. And so, just the orc TPs in, or runs in, doesn't want to waste a TP. I would have TP'd in if I was the orc, got in there a little bit faster. And with these destroyers having 0-3 upgrades, they basically, he only lost 1 destroyer out of 6 of them. I believe he had 6. So that's really good. The orc only had like 1 bat rider, so that did like barely any damage to any of the destroyers. Not much at all. And the wyverns weren't doing anything either to the destroyers. So that's always good to do. You definitely want to get those armor upgrades, especially with ghouls. Fiends and destroyers, the attack upgrade is about the same as armor upgrade, I'd say, because if you do it right, you have your destroyers in one group and your fiends in another, and right when you see those bat riders, you run your destroyers to the back of your army and hurry up and get your fiends queued up and spam W all over the bat riders to web them down. You want to web them manually, because autocast web just sucks. So that's always good to do too. So just make sure you manually web bat riders if you do happen to go fiends and destroyers. So right now he's waiting for his lich to get back, and he's going to send in the ghouls to the expansion. He sees that the army's there, but he's going to try to surround that TC, and unfortunately it doesn't work out. He stomps all the ghouls to have him stop, so he's going to be running back now. And also, too, when you see a TC with Stomp and you're fighting them, make sure your Lich and Death Knight are kind of far from each other. Not too far, but like spaced out where the Death Knight, or where the TC couldn't stomp both the Death Knight and the Lich. Because if it stomps both of them, and then they start focusing the Lich, it already did some damage to the Lich. And if you have a potion on it or whatever, you can't drink it, and your Death Knight can't coil it because he's stunned. So if he stomps the Death Knight, but your Lich is far away and it's not stomped, then chances are he's not going to be able to kill it, because by the time your Death Knight gets out, if the Lich has a potion, you can drink the potion, then by the time your Death Knight's done being stunned, he can coil it again, and whatever. And also, too, another tip, if you guys didn't know, when there's a bunch of wyverns and destroyers all over both your heroes, you can't really see them, and you see your hero getting low on life or whatever, coil the icon, if you guys didn't know that. So it's always good to do. Right here, he caught the Blade Master, but Blade Master ran off. He just got done chilling at the mana fountain and regaining a bunch of mana, whatever. So he's going to be running back into the orc space and running the ghouls into the orc expansion to kill all the peons and burrow that's at his expansion. And he's going to be going in for another battle. You want to Nova those wyverns as soon as you can, right when you get into the battle, which you just did. And unfortunately, there's a Lich. He runs him back. I'm not sure if he ran the Lich back to get it out of the way, out of all those destroyers and wyverns, so he could coil it. But if that's the case, he should have just coiled the icon. But if it's not, then that sucks. So you want to really keep your Death Knight and Lich far from each other. Right now, he's basically just running in circles with his Death Knight. That's the only ground unit that the Orc has to focus, so that's what they're going to focus. And at the same time, he's going to have the Destroyers try to attack the TC and kill the TC, but he had a potion. Also, when they're speed scrolling like this too, you might want to try to absorb the speed scroll off of them, so then they're slow again, and they basically just wasted 50 gold to give you some damage, and that would have been helpful too. So, anyways, another thing too, I've noticed a lot of undead players putting Orb of Corruptions on their Lich instead of their Death Knight, which is a good thing, but in this case, when you have Wyverns going against Destroyers and whatever, you usually want the Orb of Corruption on your Death Knight because he can attack the air, while your Lich already can't attack the air anyways. So that's a good idea. And also, especially since he's not getting dust, there's not that big of a chance of him being able to nuke the Blade Master and whatever. And so I don't even know why I just said that. I'm an idiot. So anyhow, can't think straight. So, okay. Anyways, so he took out that expansion at the same time when he was just fighting all those Wyverns, which is always good. And he's just chilling in, basically sitting in his base over the Blight with the statues, healing the Destroyers. And, yeah. He's going to be running into the Orc space right about now, sending down the ghouls to see if he had set up another expansion, because he probably will, because the Orc's at a big disadvantage right now. He lost all of his Wyverns, and he needs some kind of advantage to get over the Undead, so he can produce more units than him somehow, which isn't going to happen this late game. It's pretty much over, and yep, so sends in his ghouls, he sees the expansion being built, and then he's going to wait for the Orc to run after those ghouls so he can go into the Orc space and own the burrows again, which he sees that, so then he's going to start running in there, and he's going to be running back the ghouls, of course. But unfortunately, the Orc tech to tier 3 and has that fortified burrow now, and that sucks. I mean, don't even try taking out the burrows when they have fortified armor on their burrows. That's not even good. It's not even fun. So, anyways, yeah, so he's just going to be focusing down at barracks. I'm saying anyways too much, by the way. That's one thing I need to work on. I don't know why. I don't know. So, yeah, he's the Orc in his last desperate attempt, just mass Bat Riders to try to get the Destroyers out and somehow pull the game out of his ass, but it didn't work. And the Undead right now is just to be careful and just to be safe. He's going to go to the fountain, get all of his Destroyers back up to full life, and whatever. And here's the last battle, which is basically one-sided battle right here. The Undead, is going to win. And yeah, that's a good game. So, hope you guys learned something from that. Hope I did a little better than the first audio. So sorry for spacing out a little bit here and there. But I don't know. I'll just go over the advantages one more time that ghouls and destroyers have, and then the advantages fiends and destroyers have, which is the ghouls and destroyers. If you are going to use them, you definitely need to be multitasked with them. I'm starting to blow into the mic again. You definitely need to be multitasked with them now. And you need to send down the ghouls to go get the expansion while you're harassing the base, which is good. I mean, if you know how to do it right, it works really great. But with fiends and destroyers, you can't really do that, like I said. And if you lose one ghoul when you're multitasking and everything, not that big of a deal. It's only 120 gold. And you have a lot of them. But if you lose one fiend, that's pretty bad. That's why you want them together. You want your ghouls, or you want your fiends and destroyers together in a group. But the advantage with that is when they send in the Bat Riders, of course, just hurry up, get your fiends in one group, and just spam W all over those Bat Riders. And that's a bunch of gold the Orc just wasted for nothing. And you don't you want to web the wyverns last if they have wyverns and bat riders against your fiends and destroyers, because the wyverns can still attack when they're webbed anyways, so that's not going to really matter. But if you web the bats, they're not going to be able to do that unstable concoction or whatever it's called on you, and that's going to save you a lot of destroyers right there. So this will be the end of the audio. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it. And once again, sorry for spacing out or whatever and talking out of my ass from some of the parts of the game, like that whole nuking the Blade Master thing at the end. I don't know what I was talking about, so just ignore that about the whole Orb of Corruption. You want that Orb of Corruption on your Death Knight though, when doing this strat, because so the Death Knight can attack the air while the Lich is attacking the air, and yeah, so that's always good. Alright, so this will be Pant3ra signing out. Later.